Okay, great. So 10x your brand attraction. So one thing I discovered is a lot of people still don't understand. They don't understand the power of building their personal brands. I don't blame people because it's one of these powerful things that like all the all the guys in the know and in the money know, but not everybody knows. Like for example, I used to always hear about investing in this stock, investing in the Bitcoin or something, investing in the S&P 500.
Diversified investment.
It just went over my head. I knew I should invest. I knew it was a good thing to do to invest, but I didn't really know how to go about it. So a good friend of mine, he's a financial trainer. So he teaches people how to improve their finances, how to invest, stocks, etc. So I would always hear him talk about this stuff. I didn't know how to do it. So I said to him one day, I said, come down to my community, teach us how to invest.
Show me the money. Show me the money.
And don't just teach me because I've already been in the presentations. I've seen things. I'm going to bring my laptop and we're all going to bring our laptop. You're going to set us up right there and then, we're going to do this for real. So I brought my laptop. He came and then he walked us through how to open an account, how to, put the money in, set it up. So I set up like automation so that I think it was about £50 or something was coming from my account every month. And that was just to save, right? So I was so busy, I didn't really have time to invest, but at least I could get my bank to be putting this £50 into the account. The money was going inside the account. Months later, like towards the end of the year, when I had a bit more time, I said, okay, now I'm going to start investing because, I know how to, but I was still a bit like confused. Okay. So anyway, I opened my investment account and I was like, whoa, yeah, there's like £1,000 in there.
We're rich. We're rich. We're rich.
I was thinking all I did was like put £50 or so, So I called my guy. I called him. I said, bro, I got like £1,000. This investing thing works. Like amazing. Like, wow, how did this wow, it's a lot of money. He said, no, you're not actually investing. That was just your savings.
He's so dumb.
So that was the money that I set up to be, going into the investment account like every month. So just a simple practice of saving was already like, oh, wow, I can save this amount of money without doing anything. Then I started to invest the money. When I started to invest the money, I discovered a thing called compound interest. Compound interest goes like this. 1 + 1 = 2. 2 + 2 = 4. 4 + 4 = 16. 16 + 16 = 100 and something.
Math, 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 math.
Yeah, it's like the money starts to compound. It doesn't just grow incrementally. It's like a snowball effect, okay? So building your brand is very much like that. You need to have a long-term mindset, first of all. But secondly, you need to appreciate that the curve, it doesn't go like this, yeah? So just because you're maybe creating or maybe building your brand through content, it doesn't mean it just goes up like this. It's more like a curve, okay? You might have a bit of quietness. You might have some instant amazing things happening as well. That also happens. But over the long run, what happens is tremendous. Yeah, you start to make it starts to really pay off, and you start to build an incredible asset for yourself. Okay, so 3 top reasons why you should start to invest in your personal brand and your business brand, but at least start with your personal brand, your connections. When I started to post content online, yeah, my branded content, posting that on a daily or weekly basis online, I started to grow my network, my connections. And the picture here is Gabby. Yeah, she's also like a coach. We connected online. She came down all the way from Singapore and we enjoyed a meal together. And I just thought to myself, it's quite amazing, I've spoken to people from every part of the world, like I think every continent now.
Yeah, it's amazing that you can meet amazing people, guys, online, like in real life. Real people. Are you a real person or are you AI?
I'm a real person.
Wow, amazing.
From my laptop, I just post something and then somebody sees it. We have conversation. Before you know it, you're building a relationship, a friendship, a partnership as well. In fact, there's a piece of content I created many years ago. It went viral, right? And it goes viral every once in a while type of thing. From that piece of content, I met somebody. We connected, we spoke, and then we became business partners. And that's how I set up a startup in Africa. So that was amazing. And that was just from a piece of content. So one of the big one of the like understated things that happen when you start to build your brand is just the network, the connections that you start to make. People are wealth. Yeah. Value your relationships. People are wealth. And people really are. It's not about just finance, it's the access, the knowledge, the perspectives that people give you. People are wealth. So connections, I've gone on about that for a bit too long. Second is customers. So if you're building a business at the back end of your brand, and really I help people who have a business at the back end. Yeah, most. Those are the people that I think benefit the most from building their brands. But even if you don't have something to sell, it could still be good for building your reputation and all kinds of stuff, maybe your career, etc. But by building your brand, you get to attract customers, and not just any customers. You're more likely to attract aligned customers. Yeah, your dream customers, the customers that you want. And the last thing is your cash flow. Okay, so your bottom line, you're more likely to make a lot more money because when you have a brand behind you, yeah, when you're perceived in a certain way, your perceived value increases. So if, for example, everybody around you charges £100, $100 for a product, because of your face, because of your brand, because somebody buys into your vision, who you are, they could pay £1,000 for that. The first time I charged like £1,000 for like just like coaching, I remember thinking, oh wow, okay, this is possible. Like, I didn't know this was possible. And then I discovered that people are charging £10,000. I was like, okay, is that possible? Let's try that. Oh wow, that's possible. So as you build your brand, you discover that your perceived value increases massively. Yeah, you move out of the game of cheapness. Yeah, £10, $50, $100, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 100,000, 50,000, which is the latest offer I'm creating right now, a 50,000 offer. So where do I start? Okay, where do you start when it comes to building your brand? I think you should start in the beginning. Ooh, so obvious. What do I mean by in the beginning? I kind of, that question that some children might ask their parents, where did I come from? Yeah, where did I come from? And then the parents start, bring out the carrot and the peas. And one day they, no, when I say where do I come from, I'm talking about like essentially, where are you from? Now, if you ask a scientist, who am I? Where did I come from? Where did we come from? They might tell you some story about there was nothing one day and then bang. There was a big bang. And then there was the earth. And then, I don't know, a molecule transformed into a worm and then a piece of grass and a fairy tale happened and then and then you appeared. Okay. Some kind of crazy story. I don't know why people believe in evolution, but people do believe in evolution. I do not. Okay. I believe that you are an idea. So in the beginning, you are an idea in God's mind. So think about it this way. God had an idea and then planted you in some people, okay? Then you came out and therefore you are an idea. You yourself are a living idea. The question is this the idea that God intended for you? So are you fulfilling your greatest potential? Are you being all that God had in mind when he thought about you? When God thought about you, it was a wonderful idea. He thought, wow, amazing. Okay. Yeah, this is great. Okay. Wow. She's born. He's born. Okay. Now watch this. Yeah, this is how God is looking at you. And then what happens is this: we're born. Then we start to listen to what people say, what our teacher told us. We start looking at the natural world, our struggles. We start to shrink on the inside. We start to copy everybody else, right? We're trying to fit in more than anything. We lose our sense of self, right? We forget that we are an idea. And also we forget that the idea that God has put into our minds is like, I'm always working with people that have this idea that they can't shake. Yeah, they have this business idea. They maybe started and failed and then they dropped it, but it still stayed with them. 10 years later, 20 years, there's some business ideas I've had for like, maybe 20 years. right? That I have like iterated over time. Like one of the new products I'm going to be releasing in 2025 is like a set of cards to help people just like take those cards and you can build your brand. And I discovered that I've been trying to build this set of cards like since primary school in a different way. Then I tried it in secondary school. It's like this thing has been on my mind for a long time. Very tiny idea. So the point I'm making is this, that you are an idea and you also have ideas and you need to make those ideas come to life, right? To fulfill and maximize your potential and to impact the world with who you're meant to be. And so the first thing is that self-discovery and being able to articulate what you stand for. What do you stand for? You know, this whole presentation is about helping you to 10x your attraction. The first question you need to ask is, what do I stand for? Because when you know what you stand for, you're able to attract people to your cause. Am I making sense? I hope I'm making sense. What do you stand for? Now, I'll give you some examples here. So we can see Gandhi, right? He stood for the independence of India, and that manifested in many different ways. When Obama was running for election, he stood for hope. Yeah, people kind of were like tired of Bush and this young guy, fresh. And it was like, hope, yes, we can. Yes, we can. America was like, yes, we can. You know, they voted for him and they voted the first Black president, Steve Jobs. He stood for design. Like he looked at Microsoft, he looked at IBM, he looked at what everybody else was doing. It's like, we can make this look better. We can make this feel better. Yeah. He stood for like good design.
That is, everything around you that you call life was made up by people that were no smarter than you. And you can change it. You can influence it. You can build your own things that other people can use. And the minute that you understand that you can poke life and actually something will, if you push in, something will pop out the other side, that you can change it, you can mold it.
Donald Trump stood for America first.
Probably my most valuable asset I didn't even include on your statement, and that's the brand. I didn't even include that. The brand, if I wanted to create a statement that was high, I would have put the brand on. We had a value from the number one predictive, from the number one branding person at the time, 2.9 or $3 billion, and that was years ago. That was back in 2000 and something. And now the brand is worth much more. If you look, I mean, I became president because of the brand.
You're the big-time entrepreneur, but he developed this powerful brand that allowed him to get away with things that the average person does not get away with. Even now, right? They called him a felon and all these things. The guy is the president because he understands the power of branding. And throughout the whole campaign, I was just looking at this guy. I was thinking, wow, this guy understands branding to the T. She cannot compete. She was not even clear on the message, what she stood for. He was super clear about what he stood for. So let's come to you now. I want you to reflect for a second and think to yourself, what do I stand for? And if you're struggling to articulate what you stand for, maybe think about what you stand against. Now, here's the exercise that I did for myself. I thought to myself, what do I want to be known for? Yeah, because if you're thinking, what do I stand for? Is this complex? You can think about it like this. What do I want to be known for? And so I wrote things like purpose. Yeah. I want people to, I like the idea of people fulfilling their purpose, their calling, their potential, wealth and wealth creation and multi-generational wealth. I mentioned potential, service. My dad was so big into service. Yeah. We helped to build a hospital in West Africa and Nigeria. His whole life is about service, and that's kind of seeped into the way I think about even what does it mean to be great, is to serve. So you have greatness, impact, startup, the kingdom, branding. So what do I want to be known for? All these things. The only problem is when you have too many things, people don't know like where to place you. It's like too many things, right? You're into too many things. And the thing is this, we are actually complex people. So there's not just one thing that we're about, right? However, if you're able to just write down a whole bunch of things and then, whittle it down to like the top two. And if you can, then top one. Okay. Now, that's not saying that I'm not about all these things. It's just that when you're building your brand, you want to be associated with one thing, essentially. So I want people to think, I want startup founders, when they're building their business, I want them to think, oh, I need branding. Oh, startup greatness. Oh, Palumi. Yeah. I need to get in touch with him. He has a solution to this problem. And so I focused on startups and branding. Okay. That does not mean purpose, wealth, greatness, and all these things don't come into it. And when I use my slogan, which is be epic, what I'm actually saying is all of this good stuff, right? Be epic. Don't just be average. Don't just be lukewarm. Don't just be mediocre. Don't be average. Don't just live your life in the wheelhouse. You know, you're born, you're aged, then you work, and then you get to this age, and then maybe you get pension if you're lucky, and then, you know, you die. What kind of life is that? God did not make you for that. You are much bigger. You are a much more epic idea. So my call to you is be epic. You need to be able to articulate the one or two things that you want to be associated with. The secret to attracting your tribe, attracting people to your cause, is you being able to articulate what you stand for, or if you want, you know, like a bonus point, what you stand against. So write down maybe a list of 10 things that you think represents you, things that you stand for, things essentially that you want to be known for. What do you want to be known for? You might be into like car racing, and then you're also into gymnastics, and then you're also into like drawing and reading books. You know, write all these things down. When you think about what you want to be known for as well, consider you kind of want something that people can rally around, okay? Because it's kind of like you're starting a movement. You know, it's like a cause. When you have this cause, so for example, some of these business might be helping people to learn to ride a bike, okay? So you might be helping people to ride a bike as your business. However, is that really a cause? Is that really something that you stand for, riding bikes? Do you think people can rally around that? Maybe, possibly. So, but I don't think so, right? So the better way to articulate that would be more like, I stand for the freedom to enjoy nature, or something like that. I stand for better quality of air. So we want less car damage and you know, fumes and stuff. And so when it comes to the thing I stand against, it might be like, you know, I stand against you know, fuels and cars and all this kind of stuff. That's just a kind of random example, but does that make a bit of sense? Does that help you to, it's about positioning. See, branding is all about positioning yourself in somebody's mind, essentially. It's about being known for one or two things. It's about being connected. When somebody thinks about the problem, they think about you as a solution. I send my children to a school. There's some good schools around here, local schools, okay? But instead, we travel like 30 minutes every day to drop my kids to a specific school. And we pay for that school as well. We could have gone to some good free schools locally, but we pay for a school that's a bit further away. Why? I aligned with their values. I aligned with what they stood for. I was willing to pay the price with my time, with my petrol, and with my money, just because of what they stood for. So the key thing there is articulate what you stand for. Be super clear about that. And that is the key to attracting people to your cause. Okay, so tomorrow, what I'll be talking about is how we move from that point to how we can attract sales.